Greetings and hello everyone. My name is VIMAL MISHRA and I welcome you to IMS Today. Today in this episode we have with us a very special guest, Mr. Ashish Kapoor, Director HR Ernst & Young. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Vimal.
Sir, how did you feel coming to IMS?
It was great to come into the campus. Also great to see in so many, it's not just one of the campuses, there are 3 around. So, great to see the set of students, the infrastructure, but really happy and really glad to be here.
Sir, so I'll start with the question. My first question would be, what initiatives do you think a company should take to promote a peaceful workplace culture and more employee engagement?
Okay. Well, I'll hold the mic if you're okay with that. So, I think there's a lot being spoken about, when we talk about peaceful work culture in terms of employee engagement, employee initiatives, or collaborative approach, basically. Organizations today are dependent a lot on talent, because talent, and especially organizations like ours, which is EY, talent is the only product. There's nothing else, right? You only have people. You're not producing anything. It's just the mind that they're using and the strategies and the engagement that they're resolving. So, organizations have been working very hard on making sure there is enough focus on well-being. They're making sure there's enough focus on being able to spend enough time with your own self, with your families. There is the sense of personal space. And organizations like ours, which is EY, what we are focusing very heavily on is that there is work beyond, or there are passions beyond work. And how we are trying to do that is we have built in about 7-8 hobby clubs, or we call them social groups. And each of them, now have a good 3,000 to 4,000 strength in individually. And these are groups like, foodies or fitfluentials, focusing on fitness, or something to do with adventure sports. It could be something to do with music, and pet lovers or drama. And I think what this is helping is, one, it relaxes people, of course. After a heavy day at work, you come back, you look at something which you like, which you are passionate about, you contribute, you feel relaxed. And the other is it helps in networking any which ways across the organization. It's so huge that you don't network very easily that ways beyond your team. So I think focusing a lot on the personal space, well-being, I think, and like I said, passions beyond work helps organizations these days.
Sir, so coming to the next question, how do you think a company should address the challenges, that are being posed by the changing business landscape? And the fact is that they're being posed very rapidly these days. So how do you think a company should address that?
Thanks. So I was speaking to the set of students in the orientation program today, and I realized that what has not been spoken about a lot is the few concepts which are very imperative these days. And this, I think the number one concept would be agility. I think these days, specifically in schools, in colleges, of course there's a lot of focus on the curriculum, there's a lot of focus on exposure, but I don't think there's a lot of focus on just trying to tell people how to be agile, how to be constantly agile in this changing dynamic world. 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, nobody knew about AI bringing such a big change, isn't it? These days, for any lecture, for any topic, you tell Bard, you tell ChatGPT, and they have the answers ready. Now, you can also be threatened by it, but at the same time, you could try and see how can it help you in your day-to-day life. And I think it's being that bringing in that agility, or being able to dynamically revolve around and say, okay, this is a change that has come, I can't do anything about it. Now, how do I bring it to my benefit? So I think the changing landscape has been changing always, and that's why they say change is the only constant thing. It's just that I believe that the elder generations or the previous generations had better agility. They used to adjust better to changes rather than what's happening now. And maybe that's why the noise levels are up. So I would say this agility is the most important part that one should focus on.
Thank you, sir. Sir, so my next question would be, whenever we talk about companies, organizations, or businesses, we always talk about a term, corporate social responsibilities, right? So how do you think, or what do you think a company's approach should be towards CSR?
That's very interesting, and I along with my role, which is a HR business partner, I also lead the CSR wing for EY when it comes to employee initiatives, or where employees contribute in terms of providing time and effort. It's called ripples, EY ripples, and by that we means that each and every ripple that you create really goes a long way and it helps. Now, I think a couple of years ago, we as an organization globally realized that the generation that is coming through now is not really excited so much when it comes to just career or money or designations. There needs to be something different, something better, and that's when we went back to the textbooks. We realized that the Maslow's theory. We realized that the basic things that one need when it comes to food, shelter, safety, all of it is met. Parents have taken care of majority of those things, but as you keep going up the ladder, and that's where we realize that having a purpose in life is really, really important. So we as an organization, EY is trying to become a purpose-driven organization, right? And that's what we are trying to teach our leaders also, and that's where social CSR or corporate social responsibility plays a very important role. We are making sure that people are contributing in 3 large areas. We are focusing on mentoring of underserved communities, of course. We are focusing on environment, that's a given cause, and that could be not just planting trees, but also contributing and participating in events and programs where, we are, for example, ideating penguins via thousands and thousands of images that the satellites click. What we are trying to see is the communities, where are they, how can the Arctic scientists go in and save them. We are working on soil erosion, we are working on water conservation, and the last part is we are working very strongly and heavily with impact entrepreneurs, which is organizations which deal with people who are small-time entrepreneurs but trying to bring in an impact in a particular village, in a particular district, in a smaller segment. So we as an organization provide free solicitation solutions which we otherwise sell for, which we otherwise service our clients with. That's something which is given free of cost, pro bono, to these impact entrepreneurs, and they are then able to bring up a huge change. I mean, just talking about a very small initiative with the Blind Society of India. I mean, we just tied up and we did something called talking books. Now, this is where our employees started, reading books and recording them. There are, of course, softwares that come along, but they're recording books, and this goes into the library for Blind School of Association, and it has access to about 44,000 NGOs which support people with visual impairment. And we've recorded it just started a few months ago. We've recorded about 8 to 9 books. So employees sometimes just record chapters, sometimes the entire book. Families are helping in, they are also excited. This brings in a level of engagement that's very different from your day-to-day corporate life. And that's where we feel CSR plays a very important role, and each organization has to have a lot more focus on it.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining in with us today. This is VIMAL MISHRA with cameraman Shubh Dikshit, IMS Today.